You walk into your room and there it is, the silence. It's not empty, it's profound. It's not loneliness, it's solitude. In this stillness, you confront the rawness of your own soul. You see your flaws, your imperfections, your neediness. But you also see your strength, your resilience, your capacity for growth. In this solitude, you realize that you are enough. You don't need someone else to complete you. You don't need another person to validate your existence. You are complete in yourself. You are whole. You are capable. You are worthy. This is not to say that relationships are unimportant, but they should not be the foundation of your identity. Your worth does not come from another person. It comes from within. It comes from your relationship with yourself, with your values, with your purpose. When you live alone, you are forced to face yourself. You can't hide behind the distractions of another person. You can't rely on someone else to fill the voids within you. You must confront your fears, your insecurities, your desires, and in doing so, you grow. Living alone teaches you independence. It teaches you self-sufficiency. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that you can navigate the world without leaning on someone else. And in a world that often seeks to make you dependent on others, this is a powerful lesson. But living alone also teaches you compassion. It teaches you empathy. It teaches you the value of connection. When you spend time alone, you learn to appreciate the presence of others. You learn to value the relationships you have, not because you need them, but because you choose them. In solitude, you find your true self. You discover your passions, your dreams, your purpose. You learn what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled, what makes you feel alive, and you realize that you don't need someone else to give you these things. You can create your own happiness. You can fulfill your own dreams. You can live your own purpose. Living alone is not about isolation. It's about liberation. It's about freeing yourself from the expectations and pressures of others. It's about embracing your individuality, your uniqueness, your authenticity. It's about living life on your own terms. So, don't fear solitude. Embrace it. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to discover. Use it as a stepping stone to becoming the best version of yourself. Because when you are whole on your own, you can enter relationships not out of need, but out of choice. And that is the foundation of a healthy, fulfilling connection. Living alone forces deep self-reflection and self-awareness, helping you confront both your weaknesses and your inner strength, ultimately realizing that you are complete and enough on your own. Solitude teaches self-sufficiency, independence, and emotional strength, which builds a foundation for a stable life without reliance on external validation or support. Without the distractions of others, solitude allows you to explore your passions, values, and life purpose more clearly, enabling you to live a life aligned with your true self. When you're fulfilled alone, any future relationships are pursued from a place of abundance rather than need, which leads to healthier, more intentional connections. In the stillness of solitude, the cacophony of external voices fades, and the true voice of the soul emerges. It is in these moments of quiet reflection that the layers of pretense and distraction are peeled away, revealing the raw, unadulterated essence of who we are. Solitude is not merely the absence of others, it is the presence of self. When alone, there is no need to perform, to conform, or to seek approval. The mirror reflects not the image we project to the world, but the reality of our inner being. In this reflection, we confront our fears, our desires, our flaws, and our strengths. We come face to face with our true identity, unmasked and unguarded. This confrontation is not always comfortable. It challenges us to acknowledge parts of ourselves we may have neglected or denied. Yet, it is through this honest self-assessment that growth occurs. Solitude provides the space for introspection, allowing us to examine our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without the influence of others. It is in this space that we can discern our authentic values, beliefs, and desires. Moreover, solitude fosters self-reliance. Without the support or interference of others, we learn to navigate life's challenges independently. This independence builds confidence and resilience, reinforcing our sense of self-worth. We come to realize that we are capable of standing firm in our convictions and making decisions that align with our true selves. As we embrace solitude, we also cultivate self-compassion. In the absence of external judgment, we learn to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding. We acknowledge our imperfections without condemnation, recognizing them as part of our human experience. This compassionate self-awareness leads to greater emotional well-being and a deeper connection with our authentic identity. Furthermore, solitude enhances our creativity and problem-solving abilities. In the quietude of being alone, our minds are free to explore new ideas and perspectives. Without the constraints of societal expectations or the opinions of others, we can think more freely and innovatively. This creative freedom allows us to express ourselves more fully and authentically. In solitude, we also find clarity. The noise of the world diminishes, and we can hear our inner voice more clearly. This clarity enables us to make decisions that are true to our values and desires, rather than being swayed by external pressures. We gain a deeper understanding of our purpose and direction in life. Ultimately, solitude is a path to self-discovery. It is through spending time alone that we uncover the depths of our being. We realize that our identity is not defined by our relationships, achievements, or possessions, but by our inner essence. In solitude, we come to understand that we are enough, just as we are. Therefore, embrace solitude not as a void to be feared, but as a sanctuary to be cherished. In its embrace, you will find the truth of who you are, and in that truth, you will find the strength to live authentically and purposefully. In the quietude of solitude, one discovers the profound strength of independence and the unyielding resilience of the human spirit. It is in these moments of aloneness that the soul is forged, tempered by the fires of self-reliance and the trials of solitude. Here, in the absence of external influences, the individual stands alone, not in weakness, but in the full realization of their own strength. Solitude is not a void to be feared, but a crucible in which character is formed. Without the distractions and demands of others, one is compelled to confront the depths of their own being. It is in this confrontation that true independence is born, not the independence of isolation, but the strength that arises from self-sufficiency and inner fortitude. In solitude, there is no one to lean on, no one to validate one's existence. There is only the self standing firm against the challenges that life presents. This is not a state of loneliness, but of empowerment, for in standing alone, one discovers the vast reserves of strength and resilience that lie within. The trials faced in solitude are not burdens, but opportunities for growth. Each challenge overcome in the silence of aloneness adds to the tapestry of resilience that is woven into the fabric of the soul. Through these trials, the individual learns not only to endure, but to thrive, drawing upon the wellspring of inner strength that solitude reveals. Moreover, solitude fosters a deep sense of self-awareness. In the absence of external voices, the individual can hear the quiet whisper of their own heart, discerning their true desires, values, and purpose. This clarity of self leads to decisions rooted in authenticity, actions aligned with personal truth, and a life led with intention. In solitude, the individual is not alone. They are accompanied by their own spirit, their own convictions, and their own strength. This companionship is not one of neediness, but of mutual respect and understanding. It is a relationship forged in the fires of solitude, tested by the trials of life, and strengthened by the unwavering commitment to self, reliance, and resilience. Thus, solitude is not a mere absence of others. It is the presence of self. It is the sanctuary where independence is nurtured, resilience is built, and the soul is fortified. In embracing solitude, one does not retreat from the world. They prepare to face it with unwavering strength and unshakable resolve. For in the silence of solitude, the individual discovers that they are not merely surviving. They are thriving, standing firm in the strength of their own independence and the resilience of their spirit. And in this realization, they find the courage to face whatever challenges life may present, knowing that they are equipped with the unyielding strength that comes from within. In the sacred space of solitude, the soul finds its true voice, untainted by the clamor of external influences. It is here, in the quietude of being alone, that one can hear the whispers of purpose and the stirrings of passion. The world, with its incessant noise and demands, often drowns out the inner calling that resides within each of us. But when we retreat into solitude, we create the conditions necessary for self-discovery and the awakening of our deepest desires. Solitude is not merely the absence of others, it is the presence of self. In the company of our own thoughts, we confront the truths we often avoid. We face our fears, our insecurities, and our longings. This confrontation is not always comfortable, but it is essential for growth. For it is only when we are willing to look inward, to examine the depths of our own being, that we can uncover the passions that lie dormant within us. In solitude, we are free from the expectations and judgments of others. There is no need to conform, to please, or to perform. We can explore our interests without fear of criticism or rejection. This freedom allows us to experiment, to fail, and to try again. Through this process, we discover what truly excites us, what ignites our spirit, and what gives our lives meaning. Moreover, solitude provides the space for reflection. In the quiet moments alone, we can ponder our experiences, our choices, and our aspirations. This reflection leads to clarity. We begin to understand our values, our strengths, and our purpose. With this understanding comes direction. We are no longer adrift, but guided by a sense of purpose that emanates from within. The passions that emerge in solitude are not fleeting whims. They are the authentic expressions of our true selves. They are the pursuits that bring us joy, fulfillment, and a sense of accomplishment. These passions become the driving force behind our actions, propelling us forward even in the face of adversity. They give our lives depth and richness, transforming the mundane into the meaningful. Furthermore, solitude fosters creativity. Without the distractions of the outside world, our minds are free to wander, to imagine, and to create. Many artists, writers, and thinkers have credited their most profound insights and creations to periods of solitude. In these moments, the mind is unshackled, capable of connecting disparate ideas and forging new paths. Creativity flows not from external stimuli, but from the wellspring of our own imagination, nurtured in the solitude of being alone. In solitude, we also develop resilience. We learn to rely on ourselves, to trust our instincts, and to persevere in the face of challenges. This resilience is not born of isolation, but of self-sufficiency. It is the strength that comes from knowing that we are capable, that we can navigate the storms of life with grace and determination. As we embrace solitude, we cultivate a deeper connection with our inner selves. We become attuned to our needs, our desires, and our boundaries. This self-awareness allows us to make choices that align with our true purpose and passions. We no longer seek validation from others, for we have found it within ourselves. In the end, solitude is not a retreat from life. It is a return to life. It is the process of shedding the layers of conditioning and expectation that have obscured our true selves. It is the journey back to the essence of who we are, to the passions that reside within us, and to the purpose that gives our lives meaning. So, embrace solitude. Seek it not as an escape, but as a path to self-discovery. In its embrace, you will find the clarity to understand your true desires, the courage to pursue your passions, and the strength to live a life aligned with your deepest values. For it is in solitude that purpose and passion are not merely discovered, they are awakened. In the quiet solitude of one's own company, a profound transformation occurs. It is here, in the absence of external influences, that the individual begins to recognize their own worth, their own desires, and their own capacity for fulfillment. This awakening leads to a pivotal realization. Relationships, while valuable, are not essential for one's happiness or sense of completeness. The journey towards this understanding is often marked by introspection and self-discovery. Spending time alone allows individuals to explore their own thoughts, feelings, and aspirations without the interference of others' expectations. This self-exploration fosters a deep sense of self-awareness and self-acceptance, laying the foundation for a life that is not dependent on external validation. As individuals become more attuned to their own needs and desires, they begin to cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment. They learn to find joy in their own company, to appreciate their own accomplishments, and to nurture their own well-being. This inner fulfillment diminishes the perceived need for relationships as a source of happiness, allowing individuals to approach connections with others from a place of abundance rather than lack. Furthermore, the independence gained through solitude empowers individuals to make choices that align with their authentic selves. They are no longer swayed by societal pressures or the desire to meet others' expectations. Instead, they pursue relationships that enhance their lives and contribute to their growth, rather than seeking out connections out of a sense of obligation or fear of being alone. This shift in perspective transforms relationships from a necessity to a choice. Individuals no longer enter into relationships to fill a void or to gain validation. Instead, they engage in connections that are meaningful, enriching, and mutually beneficial. They approach relationships with clarity and intention, understanding that their happiness and fulfillment are not contingent upon the presence of another person. In this way, solitude becomes a powerful catalyst for personal growth and transformation. It provides the space and freedom to discover one's true self, to cultivate inner peace, and to build a life that is rich in purpose and fulfillment. As individuals embrace their own company and recognize their own worth, they find that relationships, when they do occur, are not a necessity, but a choice that enhances their lives rather than defines them.